"Isabel, stop!" Hayden shouted. "Now!" The robot slammed on the vehicle's brakes, sending it screeching across the broken roadway and throwing its passengers forward. Hayden gripped the sides of the seat, his right hand crushing into the material. The large vehicle jolted to a stop. "Go outside, keep an eye out for trouble," he ordered the machine. Isabel climbed out of the driver's seat and exited onto the street. She looked like a force to be reckoned with in her black bodysuit, cowl, and goggles, like a superhero from one of the old movies he had seen. "Sheriff!" Pyro cried out. Hayden rushed to the back of the RV. He found the botter kneeling beside the other mongrel, Gus, who was resting in a plush recliner in the vehicle's posh living area. Gus was sweating profusely, his face pale, and his mechanical arm shaking against the armrest of the chair. "What's going on?" Hayden asked. He could already smell death in the vehicle. Loki's body was still resting on the bed in the back. They had driven out of the Croston compound at full speed and kept going for nearly an hour. Isabel had led them on a route Hayden would never have known existed, across two old bridges that were somehow still intact, and over a pair of rivers to the mainland where she said they could find a road south and start making their way toward Edenrise. He hadn't wanted to stop. Not until he could be sure they were clear of the virus the Liberators had released into the air. He had no idea how far it would travel or how long it would survive, but they had gone a good distance, and now they had a new problem to worry about. "I don't feel so good, Sheriff," Gus said. "It might be the smell," Pyro suggested. "The people in Croston died in minutes." "I felt fine before." "Let's get you some air," Hayden said. "Can you stand?" Gus leaned forward and rose from the recliner. He was a big man, almost as big as Nathan Stacker, and he had to duck his head inside the RV. He took a step forward and stumbled. Hayden caught him with the mechanical hand Gus had inherited from his father, and that he had loaned Hayden for the fight in Loki's arena. It was strong enough to easily hold Gus up, and he used it to keep the big man steady while they made their way to the front of the vehicle. The panic of the escape hadn't left Hayden time to think much about what he had witnessed. Every time his mind touched on the scene of the Croston compound, a deep chill washed across his body. When Nathan had told him the Liberators were testing a virus that killed Trife, he had wondered if his instincts about Tinker and his crew had been off. He had heard the man talking on an old radio, carrying on for hours about cleansing the world and the will of the others, whatever that meant. Maybe Tinker was a little crazy, but if he was trying to end the Trife for good, then maybe crazy was okay. But that momentary dream of an Earth with no Trife was shattered within minutes. He didn't think Nathan knew the truth about the virus, that it wasn't a targeted strain, but rather an organism that didn't differentiate between human and Trife. In fact, it killed humans faster. He helped Gus down the stairs and onto the pavement outside. Isabel was standing a few meters in front of the vehicle, her head moving back and forth. Satisfied, she started walking to the rear to do the same scan. So much of the landscape around them was heavily urbanized, and this area was no different. There were buildings on both sides of the street, long deserted and likely already scavenged to near emptiness. Rusted old cars sat on both sides of the road, abandoned a long time ago and moved to the sides of the pavement to keep the way clear for active vehicles. There were plenty of hiding places, plenty of dark spaces where someone or something could lay in wait. If Isabel wasn't picking up any signs of activity, he wasn't going to worry about it. Gus leaned against the outside of the RV. His breathing was shallow and labored. He glanced at Hayden, a worried expression on his face. "I think it got me, Sheriff," he said. Fucking bastards. He coughed a couple of times. Then he leaned forward and vomited. Hayden put his hand around the man's shoulders. Just take it easy. Try to relax and breathe. You could have eaten some bad trife meat for all we know. Gus smiled at that. Yeah, could be. Isabel! Hayden shouted. The robot returned to them. Yes, Sheriff. We need to get rid of Loki's body. Wrap him in the sheets and bring him out. Yes, Sheriff. She went back into the RV. Pyro came out. She stood with Gus, looking worried. It's just as dangerous to get the flu or something out here as it would be to get whatever the Iron General deployed, Pyro said, especially on the road. Let's not go there right now, Hayden said. We don't make it serious until it's serious. Did vomiting help? Gus nodded. I think so. Pyro, why don't you go in the truck and ask Isabel if Loki had a stash of meds? Good idea, Pyro said. She put her human hand on Gus's shoulder and then hurried back inside.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.